Logitech Circle View Doorbell. We've got the doorbell. We've got wires, wire connectors, a chime kit. There is a lot that goes into the installation of this doorbell, but that is what we're going to be covering in today's video. I'll be showing you guys step by step on how to get this set up and connected, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Steve from the YouTube channel Steve Does, and I want to thank you for joining me here at reviews.org. So I was doing the installation for the Logitech Circle View Doorbell, and I noticed that there are a lot of extra parts that come with this compared to most doorbells that I install. So we thought we'd do a dedicated video showing you guys the step-by-step of how to get this installed, and that way it doesn't make the review that much longer. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos like this one. Now with that said, let's get started. Okay, so now let's go through the setup of the camera. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna jump online and go to their website. So if we take a look here, I'm gonna go to the site. So we've got logi.com/circleview-doorbell/setup. That looks good. It's gonna bring up the setup page to how to get this thing installed. I definitely recommend going through and checking this out because this is gonna help you figure out the wiring that you need to set up your doorbell. I'm gonna go ahead and click on begin install. This is just going through the initial steps right here. That's fine. Oh, so here's what it's gonna do. It's going to ask me all of these different questions to set my stuff up. So it's asking what kind of doorbell I have set up right now. I've got a doorbell with an interior chime. Click on next. I already know where my chime is, so that's fine. I'll click next on this, remove your chime cover, and then we're gonna take a look and look at what's inside. I'm gonna show you guys this later in my setup, but this is just having us go through it now. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this part right here so we can jump to the next part. All right, so going through the steps here, it did ask me things about my wiring, how I currently had it set up, and then what my voltage was going to it, because it has to make sure that's compatible. It's asking me now if I do have my doorbell in hand, so I'm gonna click yes on here, click next steps. Your existing doorbell should work. That is perfect. We're gonna go ahead and click on continue. These are the items that I'm going to need for the installation, so quite a bit here, which is why we're making this video. Click on continue. And then we're going to head and click on continue to get this started. Now, I want to jump ahead a little bit because this is just going through the list of, grabbing your iOS device, getting everything set up, make sure that it's connected to the right Wi-Fi. So you do want to make sure whatever device you're going to be using, whether it's an iPhone or iPad, is connected to the network that you want it connected to. Okay, next step is that we are actually going to be setting up this doorbell prior to installing it at the front door. Now, to do this, we need a micro USB cable. Now, if you don't have one of these, that's fine. You can just set it up once you plug this in at the front door, but the steps tell us that we can do it right now. So at the bottom of this doorbell, I can plug in my micro USB cable, which is going to give this power and allow us to do the actual setup of this device right now. Okay, so now we have powered it on. We've got a light that is solid green. All I have to do now is take my phone and bring it close to the device right here, and it should automatically detect it. So I touched my phone to the front of this device, and down here at the bottom, it says that it detected the doorbell. This is perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and click on add to home, go ahead and add it to my home, and now it's connecting the doorbell. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna set it up in Apple's HomeKit. It's gonna pull all the information that it needs to from my phone, connecting to Wi-Fi, all of that good stuff. And then this thing will be set up, and then all we have to do is finish doing the rest of the hardware setup, which we will do downstairs. All right, we're gonna set this up at the front door. Click on identify. That name looks good to me. Go ahead and continue. Choose when the camera streams and records, when I'm home and when I'm away from home. That's perfect. Chimes on the iPad and the doorbell, I'm okay with that. Doorbell details, motion and light sensing, perfect, and done. It was that easy. So I just followed the on-screen instructions, and look, my doorbell is already set up and ready to go. Now let's head downstairs. We're gonna get the chime kit installed, and then we're gonna go ahead and put the bracket at the front door. We'll go ahead and get this thing finished up. All right, so here is everything that we got in the box. We've got the doorbell itself. Look at this guy right here. On the bottom, we've got micro USB. On the back, we have got our HomeKit sticker, which was gonna be blurred out. We've got our connectors to connect it to the wire, and that's pretty much it. This thing is nice and small like that. We've also got our brackets. So these are the brackets that we're going to use. All this is going to do is that you're going to plug in the wires in the back, and then this is just going to fit in here. If you need to pop it out, there is a hole down here on the bottom that is going to be used with this key right here. So that key is going to pop into there. It's going to allow these guys to pop out. This is just the standard flat bracket, and then we've also got an angled bracket here if you do need to angle it. We have got extra wires. We've got some fancy wire nuts right here. This is going to be our door chime kit. So we're gonna plug that into our door chime, and here is a command strip to connect it to the outside if that's too big to fit in your door chime. We've got some wire labels here so you can label your wires. We've got a template here if you do need to use this to mark your screw holes before putting this in. We've got some screws and nuts here, and then we've got our quick installation guide right there. Okay, now that we have seen what comes in the box, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing set up and installed, and then we'll take a look at some of the features in the app. All right, you always want to start by flipping the breaker to the doorbell. All right, so here is what my indoor chime looks like. I've got nothing set up for the rear. I've got a wire going to the trans and a wire going to the front. So I plugged all of that into the website, and this is going to tell me how to set this up. I'm gonna go ahead and plug everything in that I need to, and I'll be back in a second. All right, so I've unscrewed both of my wires and I straightened them out here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these, they're calling them wire wings. So I've opened them up. I'm gonna put one on the first tip here and push that one down. And then we're going to get the chime kit that came with the doorbell, and we will connect it into the other sides right there. All right, so I followed the instructions on the site to get everything set up. But for me, the wire that is coming in the house that is labeled trans right here, that is going to connect to my number 2 wire. And then the one that's coming out of my box right here, number 4, is going up and it's getting plugged right here into the trans. So the middle one right there. Then we've got our number 3 that is going into my other red wire right here. And my number 5 is going into the top up here. I don't have a back door, so I'm assuming that is what number 1 and 6 are for. I didn't need them in my setup, but I wanted to show you guys here. This top part comes off, and what I had to do is I had to put the wires in there, and then I screwed them down. So you just screw them in to lock them in there, right? You just put the wires in and then screw it down to tighten them up, and then from there I ran it all through here. Now luckily these are really long wires, so I can put this wherever I want to, because it doesn't look like this guy's gonna fit inside of the box here, so I'm gonna have to stick it up on top of the box. But now that we have got to this part installed, I'm gonna install the outdoor part, and then we'll go ahead and turn the breaker back on. All right, I screwed my panel back on. One thing that I wanted to point out is that some of my tabs were sticking out. I had to push that down right there because you can see some of the number tabs. So something to keep in mind when you're putting your numbers on it, put it lower on your wiring right there. I mean, you got really long wiring. That way it doesn't stick out the top in case you have a situation like I do right here. All right, as far as the wires on the outside here, we've got the 2 wires right here. It doesn't matter which side they go into. So you're gonna be able to plug it into each side. I had to straighten both of those out, and I'm just gonna push them into either side right here. So I have that one pushed all the way in. Let's go ahead and get that one pushed all the way in. And now when I tug on it, they don't come out. Here's what it looks like on the inside. You can't even see them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to screw this in. I didn't want to take out my current mount that I have for my current doorbell. So that's why I see this one right here. We're just gonna mount this one to it for the sake of the install so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, so we've got the bracket screwed in right there. It's all wired up. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the power back on, and then we will plug in our doorbell. All right, we have the power turned back on. Now we just need to put the doorbell in. You're gonna slide it up the top first. Make sure it clicks in there. Push in the bottom. All right, now we're just waiting for our light to turn on right here. All right, our light is now blue, the doorbell is glowing, and we are good to go. All right, now that we have everything set up, let's take a look at it in the app. I'm gonna load up the HomeKit app right here. We're gonna scroll all the way down to the bottom. Boom, there is our doorbell right there. I'm gonna tap on that, load it up a live view so we can see what is happening at the door. Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the review. We're gonna start diving into this doorbell right here. I'll let you guys know my thoughts in the next video, so make sure you are subscribed for that. Also, this doorbell is an Apple HomeKit Secure Video, and that's gonna give it some extra perks. If you are not familiar with Apple's Secure Video, I'm gonna be working on a video for that, explaining a little bit more depth on that, so make sure you are subscribed. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you liked it. If you guys want to see more from me, check out my YouTube channel, Steve Does, where I do a lot of cool tech reviews. I want to thank you again for joining me here at reviews.org, and I'll see you guys in the next video.